Just starting off with like kind of the big moment from the meet, Jordan's perfect 10, first perfect 10 on vault. What a way to start off the meet.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that, and how do you feel like that's kind of a culmination of all the work she's done throughout her past 3 years?
Yeah, I feel like it was coming. Like, she's been training her double full like phenomenal really all preseason, and that's why we kind of went down this road with the double full this year, because it was so consistent, and it really doesn't have built-in deductions when she does it so cleanly and lands and sticks it. And so, just the way she's been training, I felt like, and also competing the last 2 weeks, I felt like the stick was coming, and so it was very special to see her just like nail it here today, the first meet in Poly, and to get the 10 was huge because it's her first 10 on vault. So super exciting way to start the meet, and just really proud of the work she's been putting in to really be ready to nail that vault.
For you, Janelle, I mean, of course, Lacey's made a big impact on this team, but for you, like, to have two, as you told me a few weeks ago, the scores don't necessarily matter, but the consistency of these events. For you to have consistency on beam so early in the season, what have you seen from them in these early weeks of preparation and competing in meets on beam?
Yeah, I think, they're a phenomenal beam team. They work really hard. Lacey holds them to a really high standard. And really, this team is very committed to doing the little things it takes to be great. And I think that's the confidence you're seeing on beam. And I think that's really what beam is. It's not the hardest gymnastics event, but it is, in those pressure situations, can feel the hardest. And so it's all about confidence. It's all about being calm and steady when you're up there. And I think that the work that they've put in the gym and the expectation they're held to is really just starting to shine through. I think they're really proud of where they're at on beam, and I think that's a reason they're able to come out here and just really make it a strength for us. So just very proud of where they're at on beam. It was exciting to see them make some adjustments from last weekend, because I did feel like we never really fully settled in last weekend on the podium. And so, that was really good adjustments with the work that they put in this week in the gym. It's great to see Nola nail that after having a mistake last week. I mean, all those things are just so positive and really like confidence boosting to take forward in the season with us.
Coach, how do you think Jordan performed after sticking that vault, a perfect 10 on the vault?
Yeah, Jordan's she's just such a confident and steady leader for us, and I feel like, that was just such a special moment for her and for the team to be able to really wrap up that vault rotation with that 10. And then, she really went out, and I felt like bars and beam was just phenomenal today. Didn't quite get the landing on bars today, but she really is just a steady leader for us in the way that she shows up, the way that she competes, and floor wasn't her best today, but I also think that it's good to have those moments that you're like, oh, I got to make sure I stay totally locked in, dialed in all the way to the end. And I think that's something, floor being at the end, I think that's something we got to manage, like energy throughout the meet and all of that kind of stuff too. So I'm really happy with how Jordan did, of course, and just really how the team managed the meet as well, because I felt like they were so much more confident and steady through everything today. Still have work to do in the gym, and we're excited to get back in there on Monday and do just that. But I'm excited to see the little things starting to lock in when we get out on the competition floor. And for it being week 3, that bodes well for us.
Question for you. As you're transitioning, you have a big class of freshman elites coming in that are transitioning from elite.
Yeah.
What is your strategy looking like? You're having some early success, but what does that look like to carry that through the season?
Yeah, I think, the transition really from elite is different. They're so experienced in the caliber of competitions that they have. So, when you put them out here with a, packed house at Poly Pavilion and the pressure's on, it's not foreign to them. Like they've been through those kind of moments before. But what is so different is the day in and day out in the gym. There's a lot of times where you make your elite routine with all those skills in it, and you're like, awesome, high five, you're done for the day. And here we're really meticulous about the details. And so how you're being coached feels very different, because we're so about the little details. And I think Ashley touched on it a little bit, but I think that overarching has been the theme with them. They kind of laugh about how different it feels. But I feel like they're transitioning so beautifully, and each week I'm seeing their technique get dialed in. I'm seeing the execution get cleaner, and just starting to see that consistency that we're excited to bring out on the competition floor.
Sydney was originally slated to kind of make her debut on floor today, and then ultimately that didn't end up happening. Could you just kind of walk us through the thought process on that and how she's doing?
Yeah, Sydney's been working so hard. She's fighting to get into those lineups, and she just has the passion and the heart of a champion. And I just am so excited for her this season because she's right there. So her landings weren't quite as dialed in as we wanted to see in the warm-up and in the one touch, and so that's why we made the decision to let Sienna go, because she did beautifully last weekend, warmed up really consistent and steady for us, and so that's kind of why we made the choice to swap them today. But Sydney's right there, and she's putting the work in, and I was excited about her bar routine today too, because she's been working really hard for that too. So she's right there, she's in the picture, and she's fighting, and I think that's exactly what we want for those lineups right now.
Hey, Coach. What was the biggest difference you saw from your team from last week? And how do you think your team translated what you practiced during the week today?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would say about the week of practice, it was super gritty and it was super hardworking. There was not a minute of practice that I think people weren't being intentional about getting better. And so we had a really good week of practice. I felt like we started to see a lot of the little details start to get dialed in. I don't feel like all of that translated yet onto the competition floor. I think if you saw bar landings all week in the gym, they were phenomenal tonight. Not as phenomenal today. It's not nighttime yet, but yeah, lose track of time. But yeah, so I think we can definitely continue to build on that, but it's coming. What they're doing in the gym is building confidence and consistency, and when they are able to bring that out, it's going to be pretty exciting.
On vault, during the 4-minute warm-up, Jordan stuck the Yurchenko fall, and then on the exhibition, kind of got the same thing there. What have you seen from her on vault, and how has her preparation been? You talked about it a bit during the midweek, but just what have you seen from her there, and how is she kind of fighting her way into different lineups?
Yeah, I think what was really cool about Jordis today, especially on vault, is I realized that she's kind of a gamer. She rises to the occasion, and that was really cool to see, because her consistency on the stick is not always there, and so that's why she's kind of been working her way into the lineup. It's been getting better in the gym, and we wanted to give her a chance to get out there, and for her to just fly high and stick the landing today was amazing to see. And so that really showed us a lot about Jordis the competitor, and she did her first full bar routines in poly today during the warm-up period and that kind of stuff. So she's working, and she's working really hard to fight for those lineup spots, and I think she has this really hard-working, consistent demeanor about her, and she just really is just intentional about what she does. She gets after every event. She works really hard. She's very coachable, and I think that's going to bode well for her, being able to make an impact for us.
And then on Jordan's full routine, it looked like she grabbed down on her leg at one point. Did you know if there was cramping or if anything was affecting her during the routine?
Yeah, she didn't mention anything. I think the short landing stung her ankle a little bit, as it does. But yeah, she seems fine. But yeah, I think she was a little disappointed too to step forward on that pass, because that's not typical for her. But I also think this timing of the meet is something that we have to learn from too, because we met at 11:45. I'm not sure everybody had lunch, and so fueling through this kind of time period is something that we have to learn from and prepare for too. And so early in the season, just really paying attention to those things and making sure that our energy at the start of the meet is as good as it is at the end of the meet is really important. And I think how you fuel throughout the meet is really important too. So that's something we're going to talk about as a team, and just make sure everybody has a plan for themselves to make sure that they're getting what they need, so that it becomes a long day. Becomes a long day out there. So we just got to make sure that we're prepared from start to finish. So these are all things we're taking away from today and going to learn and build from.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, go Bruins. Yep.